Hi everyone, welcome back to Xcoding with Alvian. In this video, we are going to build a live barcode, QR code, and text scanner iOS app using SwiftUI. Let me show you the demo of the app. Here we have the live camera feed that we can use to scan around. And let's begin by scanning these barcodes, two barcodes. Okay, it successfully scanned the two barcodes. Now let me change this to scan only one barcode at a time. Okay, success. And now let me scan the QR code. Wow, nice. And now let's turn back to multiple, change to text, and we have the options to scan all text, URL, phone, email, or address. Here I have another box. Let me scan all text. Nice, it has fully tagged the text. Now let's change to phone. Okay. Yes, it successfully detect the phone numbers in the box. Let's change to address. Nice, it's able to scan the address as well. Amazing. Now let me try to scan a URL. I think we have URL in this box. Okay, there. Nice, it is able to detect the URL as well. Amazing. So that's all the features that we are going to build. Let me explain to you the tech behind this app. This app uses native Apple VisionKit framework with on-device machine learning processing. So no need to import third-party dependencies. Privacy is also one of the key features. Users' data are not sent to the server, so it works offline even without internet access. Before we begin, there are several requirements that you need to complete. First, you need to install Xcode 14 latest release. Currently, it's in beta 2. You can get it from the Apple developer website. And next, you need to have iPhone with built-in camera. The DataScannerViewController is only supported on devices with A12 Bionic CPU and later. You need to also install iOS 16 on your device. Currently, it's also in beta 2. You can download the profile from the Apple Developer Member Center. So that's all the requirements. And remember, you can download the completed project from the GitHub repository at the description below. And without further ado, let's begin and start coding. Let's begin by opening Xcode and create a new Xcode project. And here, make sure you select iOS and select this app template. Click next. For the product name, give it a name of anything you want. I'm going to give it a name of barcode text scanner. Make sure to select SwiftUI as the interface and uncheck use core data and uncheck include test. Click next and save it anywhere you want. For me, I'm going to save it in my documents folder. Click create. Okay, let me turn off the preview for now. And now, because our app needs to access the camera of the users, then we need to add the privacy camera usage description telling the user on what we are going to do using the camera. To do that, we need to add it into the info playlist of our target app here. Select barcode text scanner from the targets and select info from the tab. And here, just click on this plus button and search for privacy and select this camera usage description. Okay, this is the key. And for the text that we will be shown to the user, we're going to just say the app needs camera access to scan barcode and text. Okay, let's go back to the project, and then the first thing that we are going to do is to create the view model for our app. So just create a new file and give it a name of app view model, and import SwiftUI and declare a class app view model. Make it conform to observable object, and let's begin implement this. Next, let's implement an enum to represent the data scanner access status type in our app. There are several possible states that we need to handle. This will help us later to determine which UI that we are going to present based on the state. Okay, let's make the Xcode window to full screen. Let me change the theme to dark mode. Okay, looks good. So inside the same file, view model, declare an enum here, data scanner access status type. The first case is not determined when the user launch our app, and second one, camera access not granted when the user doesn't give access to the camera. That one is camera not available, so when the camera is not present on the device. And fourth one is scanner available, so this is when the data scanner is available to use. And finally, scanner not available. Remember that the data scanner only supports devices with A12 Bionic and later, so we need to handle devices that still use the A11 and below. Okay, and this is it for the data scanner access status type. Now let's add this as a publish property inside the view model. Declare a publish property wrapper and var data scanner access status for the name with the type of data scanner access status type, and give it an initial value of not determined. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is to add a method to request this data scanner access status asynchronously. So first, let's make sure this app view model uses the main actor. Just declare this above the class declaration main actor. It means that this app view model will be updated inside the main actor, the main thread. Okay, and let's declare a func, give it a name of request data scanner access status. Make it an async function, and let's import VisionKit here and AVKit as well. And now let's implement the request data scanner access status. First, we are going to check whether the device has the camera hardware. To do this, we can use this API UI image picker controller. Is source type available, and we can pass camera as the source type. Okay, so if this is not available, the else block, we just set the data scanner access status to camera not available and then return. Okay, and next is we need to ask the permission for camera access, and to do that we can use effect AV capture device authorization status 4 and just pass video here. So there are several cases. First one is authorized. So here we need to assign it with a value, but we need to check also whether the scanner is available or not. So let's declare also a private var here and give it a name of is scanner available with the type of boolean. Here we can simply use this API DataScannerViewController. This static var is available and DataScannerViewController is supported. So when both of these properties are true, that will be the case where the scanner is available. Okay, so here, if the status for camera access is authorized, we're going to check if is scanner available compute property is true, then we're going to assign it with scanner available. Else, we're going to just assign it with scanner not available. So this will be the case when the user has a camera hardware, but probably it still uses A11 chip or below. Okay, so it still won't be able to use our app because the DataScanner API doesn't provide support for that SoC. For the next case is restricted, a status that indicates the app isn't permitted to use media capture device, and we are going to also combine it with denied. The user has explicitly denied an app permission to capture media. Okay, so for this we just set the data scanner access status to camera access not granted. Okay, now for not determined, so a status that indicates the user hasn't yet granted or denied authorization. So this will be invoked the first time the user launches our app. We're going to show a prompt that asks the permission to access the camera. And let's declare a constant granted, a boolean here. And let's use await and invoke AV capture device request access for. So this is an async function that returns a boolean. So this will show the prompt to the user. Okay, and let's pause video. If the user grant the access, this will be true, else this will be false. Okay, so we need to check if granted. Let's set the data scanner access status using this same ternary operator again, right? And else, let's set the data scanner access status to camera access not granted. Okay, and finally we also need to handle the default case. Let's just break from here because it won't happen, I think. Okay, we have this authorized, restricted, denied, and not determined. Okay, now we need to go back to the app barcode text scanner app.swift. This will be the main function, the entry point of our app. So first, let's declare the state object in here, make it private, and let's give it a name of VM, and just initialize the FView model in here. Okay, and in the content view, let's declare the modifier environment object and pass this VM, okay, down to the children to use. And let's also add a task here. Okay, so this will be an asynchronous task to perform before this view appears, and this is the time that we can use to just invoke vm.request data scanner access status. So this will be invoked the first time user launch the app. So it will ask for the data scanner access status, and it will update this published property data scanner access status. Okay, so that's it for our first task. I can say that we created the FView model and created an published property for that enum to represent the data scanner access status. And then the first time the app launched, we invoke this and update this data scanner access status. Now we can use the publish property to determine the user interface that we will be showing next. Now let's go to the content view. The first thing that we need to declare in here is declare a property wrapper, an environment object, and var VM. This will be the app model. Okay, and inside the body, delete all of the statements and use switch and pass VM data scanner access status. The first case is scanner available. For now, let's just put a text. Scanner is available. Later, we're going to implement the DataScannerViewController and then show it for this case. Next one is the camera not available. Let's declare text and pass your device doesn't have a camera. Third one is scanner not available. Text your device doesn't have support for scanning barcode with this app. And finally, camera access not granted. Text, please provide access to the camera in settings. Okay, and there's one final case, sorry, not determined. Text requesting camera access. This property will only be there the first time user launched the app. Okay, so we have provided all the handling for each of the case. Now let's start implement the data scanner view. This data scanner view is a SwiftUI wrapper for the data scanner view controller provided by Apple. So this is the documentation scanning data with the camera. So basically here Apple provide this data scanner view controller. This is an object that scans the camera, live video for text, data in text, and machine readable codes. This is an instance of UI view controller. So it's a UI kit component. We are going to use a UI view controller presentable to wrap that into a SwiftUI view. Okay, that's our objective. Now let's declare a new Swift file. Give it a name of data scanner view. Okay. First, let's import SwiftUI and import VisionKit and declare a struct. Give it a name of data scanner view. Make it conform to the SwiftUI UI view controller representable. So there are two required methods. Make UI view controller. So here we're just going to return the data scanner view controller. So let's declare the view controller and assign it to a constant VC, and let's declare data scanner view controller. So there are several configurable parameters that we will pass to this, and first one is the recognized data type. This can be barcode or text, and it also has associated value of symbologies, whether it is an QR code, barcode, hashtag code, and other QR code standard. So for text, there are several options that you can pass, languages, and the text content type can be all type of text, URL, phone address, and etc. Okay. So for the recognized data type, we're going to declare a let here, recognized data type. We're going to pass this to this data scanner view. So the type is DataScannerViewController recognized data type. So this accepts an array, so it can support both KR and text, but for our app, we will only support showing one of them, either it is KR or text. So we're going to pass this into the array, recognized data type. That's the first configurable parameter. Next one is the quality level. So here there are several options. It can be balanced, accurate, or fast. So balance is between fast and accurate. Accurate if you prioritize recognition, accuracy over speed. And fast is when you prioritize recognition speed over accuracy. For us, we're going to just hardcode this to balance. And next is recognize multiple items. So whether the scanner can recognize multiple items at once in a single feed. And this we're going to also pass it as a configurable parameter. Recognizes multiple items. Let's declare it. It's a boolean. Let's pass this down. And also we need the is guidance enable. This is just a text that will be shown to the user that provides a hint, and is highlighting enable whether the recognized items will be shown in a highlight. Here we're just going to hardcode this as well as to true. So that's it. We just need to return this VC. And now let's declare a coordinator, because we want to make sure we conform to the delegate of this data scanner view controller, so we can receive the callback when the items are being recognized or removed from the frame or updated, or maybe when you want to handle when the user taps on one of the recognized item. So to do that, let's create a coordinator. Make it conform to NS object and to the data scanner view controller delegate. And here we need to implement my coordinator and just return the coordinator. And next, let's implement this update UI view controller. Here it will pass the data scanner view controller. We can simply set the UI view controller delegate to contacts.coordinator, and also just invoke UI view controller start scanning the camera live video for data. Okay, so this will start the scanning for the data scanner view controller. Okay, now for the coordinator, first we need to declare a binding for the recognized items. So let's declare a binding here. Recognized items. It should be an array. So it will be an array of this recognized item. An item that the data scanner recognizes in the camera's live video. Okay. And let's also declare that as a binding here that we will pass down. Okay. Recognized. I think we need to create an initializer first, right? Recognized items. It should be the type of binding, an array of recognized item. And we need to use this underscore recognized items to access the underlying value and assign this with this initializer parameter. Okay. Now we simply need to pass this in the initializer using the prefix dollar recognize items. Okay, and let's implement several of the callback here. The first one is data scanner did tap on. So this will be invoked when the user tap on one of the recognized item. For now, let's just print the item in the console. Did tap on and then item. Okay. Next one is the did add data scanner did add items. So this will be invoked when the new items are being recognized by the live feed. Okay, so in this instance, let's also print for debugging here. Did add items and then pass added items. And basically in this did add items, first one is we want to provide a feedback to the user, maybe a vibration. Let's do it using the UI notification feedback generator, initialize it, and invoke notification occurred, and let's pass success. Okay, so when new items are being recognized, we provide a vibration to the user. Very simple and light vibration. And then we're going to append this array to the binding here. Okay, and next one is also we're going to implement did remove all items. We won't implement this did update all items, but if you want to provide your own custom highlight, you need to implement this, because this will be invoked whenever the bounds of the highlighted items get updated. In that case, maybe you need to do something with your custom highlight view. Okay, so let's just implement did remove all items. So in this case, let's also log this did removed items. So in the remove items callback, we're going to invoke recognize items and assign with recognize items. We're going to filter, and in here get this item in the closure. We need to invoke remove items and use this contains where the id equal to item.id. So let's add the negation here. Okay, so we're only going to filter the items that is not contained within this remove items array. If it is contained in this remove items, we're going to remove it from this recognize items array. Okay, as simple as that. And finally, for the error, data scanner become unavailable with error. So let's just put a log here, become unavailable with error, and then print the error in case this happens. Okay, we have implemented the data scanner view. I think we can start to integrate this into the content view. Oh, there's one more method for cleanup, dismantle UI view controller. Okay, here let's just invoke UI view controller dot stop scanning. Okay, this is just for cleaning up. I think that's all for the data scanner view. Now let's navigate to app view model. So to represent whether we are scanning either barcode or text, we are going to declare a simple enum scan type with two cases. First one is text and second one is barcode. Okay, and now let's declare several published properties inside this view model. And first one is for the recognized items array. It's going to be recognize item, and let's initialize it with the empty array for the default value. And next is the scan type. The default scan type will be barcode. I think let's change the order. It should be barcode and text in here for the enum. And next, let's declare the fourth published property, text content type for scan type text. So this will be optional. In case it is optional, it will scan all type of text. Okay. And next is publish var recognizes multiple items. Let's assign it with the default value of true. Okay, so if you try to compare this with the DataScanner view, here it accepts the recognized data type with the type of DataScannerViewController recognized data type, but we are not going to use that as our published property. Instead, we are going to compute this recognized data type based on this scan type and the text content type. Okay, so let's declare a private var in here to generate this recognized data type based on the published property. Recognized data type, it should be DataScannerViewController recognized the data type. And in here we simply need to check if the scan type is barcode, we just return barcode, and we won't pass the symbology so it can accept all type of barcodes. Either we're going to pass the text, and here we will pass the text content type with the value of this published property, text content type. Okay, this will also make us easier when we implement the bigger letter. Oh, sorry. So actually this is not UI text content type. So it's going to be DataScannerViewController text content type. Sorry for the mistake that I make. Okay, now there should be no problem. Okay, looks good. Now let me close the DataScanner view, the editor, and go back to the content view.swift. So let's declare another private var main view, the type of opaque view. So here we just return the main view for scanner available case, and here let's declare the data scanner view. Now we can pass the binding of the recognized items from the view model, and for the recognized data type we can simply pass this. Sorry, let me check it again. Sorry, I forgot to make this internal so it can be accessed from the view. Okay, recognized data type, and here we are also going to pass recognizes multiple items boolean property. Okay, so this is the data scanner view. I think we should be able to test this. So first let me test using a device, using simulator. I mean, let me use iPhone 8. Okay, so when we test using simulator, the camera hardware won't be available. It should give this error: your device doesn't have a camera. Okay, it launched, and yes, as you can see, it gives this status: your device doesn't have a camera. Okay, so our logic works, and now let's try to test this using a physical device. Now let me change the device to my iPhone, and I've connected it to my Mac. Now let's try to build and run. Okay, so here it successfully requests the camera access and shows the prompt to the user. Now let me tap OK. Okay, now we got the DataScanner view controller running. So by default, we should be able to scan a barcode. Now let me try here. So I have a box here, and as you can see there are 4 barcodes being scanned. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's able to scan multiple items. Nice. Next, let's implement the bottom view to display the picker for scan type and text content type, as well as the toggle for the recognize multiple item boolean. Okay, so in the content view, just declare another private var and give the name of header view, make it opaque for the type, and then let's declare a vstack. I think for this example, let's just remove the previews. We don't need it. We're going to just rate it using the simulator. Okay, and this view should be pretty minimal as well. So we have a picker inside a vstack, and let's add the scan type as the label. For the selection, let's pass binding of scan type, and inside the picker, let's declare the option. First one is barcode, and the tag is scan type dot barcode, and next is text, and for the tag it should be scan type dot text. And don't forget to set the picker style to segmented for the style. And after the picker, let's declare a toggle, and for the label, let's pass scan multiple, just make it short, and just pass the binding of recognizes multiple items. Okay, and make sure to add a modifier of padding passing top for this edge tag. And after the edge tag, this is going to be a conditional view. If the selected scan type is type of text, then we're going to declare another picker in here, and let's pass text content type as the label. And for the selection, let's pass text content type. So this is optional. So when it is optional, it means we don't filter any text, we just show everything. Okay, and then inside the picker, actually I want to declare another private let to make this easier for all the options. So let me copy here and paste it here. So here we have the private let text content types. This is an array of tuple. The first element is string, and the second one is the DataScannerViewController dot text content type. Remember that this must be optional. Okay, and we need to import VisionKit to access this DataScannerViewController, and we have several options. So when it is all, we're going to pass nil. So this is an enum, right? So it can be some or nil or none. In case none, this is same as nil. Okay, and second one is URL. The type is URL, font, telephone number, email address, and full street address. So other than this, there's also several more options actually if you want, such as flag number, shipment tracking number, and I think that's it. But for our case, we just show 1, 2, 3, 4 options. Okay. Now let's update the speaker. Inside the speaker, let's declare a for each, and let's pass the array of text content types, and we need to pass the ID, and let's grab the text content type for the ID. Let's use one. Okay, and inside this closure, let's declare the text with the string. Okay, that's the index 0, the first element, sorry. And for the tag, it should be the text content type, which we can access using $0.1. Okay, so this is quite tricky to read. If you want, let's update this, I think, to make it easier to read. So let's pass title string, pass a name parameter, and this text content type. Okay, so with this, we should be able to pass text content type. This make it easier, right? And let's grab it. Let's grab this as a parameter option in, and let's just option dot title option dot text content type. Yeah, I think this is more readable instead of not using the name parameter for this tuple. Okay, we have this speaker for the text content type if the scan type is text, and let's also set the picker style as segmented in here. Okay, and continuing on below this if, let's also declare a text, a header text. Let's put this logic inside our view model. So inside the view model, let's declare another var header text with the type of string. So here, if the recognized items is empty, we are going to just show this text scanning, and let's just pass the scan type. What's the scan type? Let's make this string, this enum with the type of this enum as a string for the raw value. So we can print here scan type dot raw value, and else we can return recognized items dot count item, and then let's put the s in the parentheses, okay, in case it's plural. Okay, let's put this text inside this, below this picker vm dot header text, and let's the padding top. Okay, and for this h tag, let's set the padding of horizontal. Okay, now we have the header view. Let's go back to the main view. So before we implement the bottom sheet using the new presentation details API, let's just test this quickly by putting this DataScanner view inside a vstack, and below that DataScanner view, let's declare another vstack and declare the header view. And then for the list, we're going to utilize scroll view instead of list, because we are going to make the background of the sheet translucent later, and I don't think there's current public API that we can use to set the background color of list to transparent. Okay, so instead the scroll view, just use the lazy vstack and set the alignment as leading and spacing of, let's just use 16. Okay, and let's pass for each, and we can pass the recognized items array. So this already conforms to identifiable, and so let's name the parameter the closure item in. So here this is an enum, this recognized item actually, so we need to do a switch here passing the item. In case it is barcode, let's grab the barcode and then display it using the barcode payload string value, and this is optional, so it is empty. Let's just print a default value of unknown barcode. Okay, the second case is the live text, so it returns the recognized item, the text, and to access the string we can use text.transcript. Okay, I think we need to, okay, I think we already imported the VisionKit. Okay, there's another case actually, unknown default, so we need to handle that as well to remove the warning. So here let's just print unknown. Okay, we have implemented this. Now let's clean this a little bit. Now let's try to test this. Okay, so my device got disconnected. Let me select it again, Alpha's iPhone, build and run. Okay, let me go here. Okay, we have the live feed. So currently it is selecting the barcode here. Nice. Wow. If you see here, recognize 4 items. So there are 4 barcodes. Let's make it a bit steady. Okay. Nice, right? So there are the codes that being scanned. And it scanned multiple. Now let's change the picker to text. Okay, it shows this text content type, but it still scans the barcode. Let me change to multiple to single. Looks like it doesn't update the DataScannerViewController. Okay, why is this happening? Let's try to fix this. So let's go to the DataScanner view. So actually, when we update the parameter in here, this method will get invoked, update UI view controller, and this method won't be invoked, make UI view controller. This will be invoked only for the first time the view is created. So this is a bit tricky because in this update UI view controller, the DataScanner view controller itself, we cannot actually update the parameter here. Let me update it here. I think it will give an error because I tried this. Okay, cannot assign to property recognize multiple items because these parameters are let. So how can we solve this? How can we update the DataScanner view when the parameter changes? So actually there's a trick in SwiftUI to explicitly clear out recreate the view using an explicit ID. Okay, but we need to provide a valid hash value. So inside this DataScanner view, right, we need to pass this ID. So it accepts an ID of hashable. We need to pass a hash value based on the combination of all the parameters. So it should be the recognized data type and the recognized multiple items. So let's implement this logic inside the view model. Let's go to the view model and declare the var again. And let's give a name of DataScanner view ID with the type of integer as the hash value. And here let's declare a hasher, initialize it. Okay, and we can invoke hasher combine. So the first value is the scan type. Okay, so the enum already conforms to hashable, so we can combine it to the hasher. And second one is recognize multiple items boolean. Let's put it into the hasher. And finally we have the text content type as well. So this is optional, so only if this exists we're going to assign it using hasher.combine text content type. So if you are confused with this syntax, I think this is a new syntax. So if this is an optional, you don't need to use this, you don't need to assign it. Swift will be able to infer this. So inside this closure, this will be accessible. Okay, nice. And we have that. And let's pass this VM DataScanner view ID. And I also want to, while I'm on here, I want to update several things. Let me set the background of this to color.gray with the opacity of 0.3. Okay, and also I want to make this ignores the safe area. Okay, ignores safe area both in the to all the sides, leading, trailing, top and bottom. And I think also I want to add some padding to this VStack. Sorry, not to this VStack, but instead to this lazy VStack. Okay, and now let's try it again. Build and run. There's an error. Okay. So finally we need to invoke this finalize. So this will finalize the state and returns the hash value. Forgot to do this. Oh no. Okay, let's build it. And okay, everything looks good. Now let's also add a case where when the value change, this value em dot scan type. In this case we are going to reset the recognized items. So here let's just ignore this new value and set the recognize VM dot recognize items to an empty array just to reset the list. And also the other property such as the text content type, we're going to also reset it. Sorry, here. And I forgot the closing parenthesis there. And finally VM dot recognizes multiple items. So when one of the parameter changes, we're going to reset the VM dot recognize items, because this will eventually initialize a new data scanner view, right? It should be a new recognized items inside the list. Okay, now let's try to build and run this. Okay, build succeeded. Let me unlock my iPhone. Okay, now let me try to scan, make sure nothing's broken. Okay, scan for items. Let me change this to single. Oh, nice. Now it's only recognizing one item at a time. Oh, cool. Now let's try to find a QR code. Can it scan a QR code? Oh, nice. This is a QR code and are the barcodes. Okay, so it's able to scan different kind of barcode. Now let's change to text scanning. Now let's just scan everything. Oh no, it's getting confused. Okay, recognize that piece of block of text. This is nice. Okay, we have an URL there. Let's filter it just to scan URL. Nice. Wow, wow, this is amazing. It's able to scan the URL. And that's fine. Any other data type? Oh, there we have address. Let's change to address. Can it scan address? Nice. It's able to scan that. Jenderal Sudirman, Jakarta, Indonesia. Wow. This is really amazing, right? Wow, wow, wow. This is a very, very amazing technology. This machine learning thing. Okay, that's it. It works. Now let's go back to Xcode and implement the resizable bottom sheet. Next, before we implement the half sheet, let's move this vstack out to a separate property. So cut this and then declare a private var bottom container view. And for the type, it should be an opaque view again. And then just pass this here, this vstack. Okay, and let's go back to this main view and let's cut this and remove this root vstack. Okay, now after the id modifier, let's declare a sheet modifier, add a sheet modifier, and we're going to make our bottom sheet, the half sheet, to be always visible. So let's pass the percentage as true. Okay, now we need to pass the view provider, and inside the sheet we're going to show the bottom container view. Okay, now let's add several modifiers needed to make this resizable. So these are some of the new API introduced in iOS 16. First one is presentation details. Okay, and here we can pass set of presentation detail. So basically the sizes that we want the sheet to be resizable of. First, we can pass medium. This is a system detail for a sheet that's approximately half the height of the screen. Okay, let's pass medium, and we're going to also add a second size, and in this case let's pass a fraction to be 25% of the screen height. Okay, so two presentation details. And next is we're going to pass the presentation drag indicator. So there's a little bit of handle on the top of the resizable sheet. It's going to pass visible. And let's disable the interactive dismiss. Okay, so the user won't be able to dismiss the half sheet. Okay, now we have this. Let's also make the background, before we forgot, to be translucent, right? Let's pass this ultra thin material. Okay, so this is a system translucent background in SwiftUI. Okay, we have all of this. Now I think let's clean up a bit. Let's try this. Okay, we have this. Okay, we have the resizable sheet. We should be able to resize this. This is medium and this is 25% using the fraction details. Wow, this is so good. But if you take a look closely, that the background is not translucent, so this background modifier that we pass doesn't really being applied. So actually this is a bit of hack that I found, that we need to use some of the UI kit code for now, right? Because so far that I'm currently know, there's no API to achieve this other than doing this UI kit access. So first we need to get the root view controller of the window. To do that, let's just use guardlet window scene, and we can use this singleton UI applications shared connected scenes. Let's get the first one and then cast this as UI window scene, and second one is controller. Once we got the scene, let's get the windows and get the first one, get the root view controller. And here we need to access the presented view controller. This will be the sheet view. Okay, and then else we just return. So here we need to use controller.view.background color, and we need to set the background color of this view controller to clear to make this transparent. Okay, now let's try. Let's see. Okay, wow, this looks nice. Now it's translucent. Good. This is really good. Okay, nice. So we have the translucent half sheet with two presentation details, medium, and a fraction of 25% relative to the height of the screen. This app is now completed, at least for this tutorial, but I provide you the source code, and maybe after you finish the tutorial, maybe you want to add more features, more options. That's up to you. Okay, congratulations, you have completed this tutorial. You have successfully built a live barcode, QR code, and text scanner iOS app using SwiftUI. There are so many possibilities that you can unlock with this machine learning feature. And that concludes this video. Let's keep on being a lifelong learning. Like the video if you like, subscribe it if you want to support this channel going forward. Until the next one, goodbye.